Mark chapter 3 and verse 23 in the Amplified Bible version. So he called them to himself and spoke to them in parables. How can Satan drive out Satan? If a kingdom is divided, split into factions, and rebelling against itself, and that kingdom cannot stand, I want to give all infinite honors, praises, and glory to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem, Haracha'a Kodash for giving me the spirit to do this lesson. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that taught us this truth in sincerity. They steered us well and they rule well. Salutations to the hopeful elect. May the blessing of election be upon your house. This is the brother Zion Amawan coming at you with another lesson to feed the lambs through the Holy Spirit. Haracha'a Kodash. Lord willing, this lesson is edifying. Now, in this lesson, okay, we're going to get into a kingdom, Salakia, that house cannot stand. That's what I call this lesson. That house cannot stand. And as you can see, civil war is brewing, okay? It's brewing up. It's brewing in the U.S. You know, you have different types of political parties going after each other. All right, you got the, so-called radical left going against the right wing. You have, liberals, Democrats. You got Republicans. You got conservatives, liberals. And you got people that love these immigrants, and you got people that hate these immigrants. You got people that would defend these illegals. You got people that want to take these illegals out. You got people that want these illegals locked up, and you got people that don't. So all of that is going to cause civil war, all right, within its own country, within its own self. It's going to blow up, into all hell breaking loose. And this is one day closer to our deliverance, all right? Now, let's go back from the top and let's go back down. We got Mark 3 and 23 in the Amplified Bible version. All right. Let's just, go back to the top. Because there's a word that I want to harp on. All right. Mark 3:23. So he called them to himself and spoke to them in parables. How can Satan drive out Satan? All right. So, Esau is going against Esau, man. You see that? Oh, all right. When you seen all of those monuments get torn down, of those so-called Edomite, us like so-called white people, all those leaders like generals and, the Christopher Columbus thing, they took that down. Because Esau, they was pissed, they was pissed about that, because that is a token to them as being white supremacy. That's a token for that, showing them, where their history is at, showing them how strong their nation is, showing, it's showing their strength, it's showing their supremacy. When all that got taken down, that was a token for us, like, yo, this kingdom's going down. Yahweh Shema Shah right on time, man. If a kingdom is divided, you hear that? If a kingdom is divided, don't you see this place divided? Do you see America divided? I do. And I know you do. There's always a this side, that side versing each other. There's always a contentious match. Whether it's a debate, whether it's you know, podcasts, you see all these different points of views and they're clashing. It's like that in politics as well, you know, split into factions and rebellion. Now, let's get that word faction. Bear with me. Faction is a noun, 15th century word from the French faction, 14th century, which means political party, class of persons. All right? Political party, class of persons. Democrat, Republican. All right? You got liberal, conservative, red, blue, you know, left wing, right wing. Okay? Look at the eagle, for instance, right? Because they like going by the eagle, you know. But eagle represents power, too, you know. And if you ever seen a bird, but I'm just using the eagle as a reference. If both of those wings on that eagle, now mind you, it's the same damn bird. If you got two wings on that bird, and that bird wings is fighting against each other, you will never stay in the air. You're gonna fall. That bird ain't gonna be a bird no more. It's gonna be desolate and no more, because it's gonna splat on the ground. That's America. That same eagle, the left wing and right wing fighting each other. And now that eagle is gonna fall and get desolate, but instead of splatting on the ground from thousands of feet in the air, it's gonna be missiles dropping from thousands of feet in the air. And it's gonna make this place desolate. Because the scriptures go into all these shall hate the whore, man. You know, these shall hate the whore and burn her with fire. You know? But civil war, insurrection, things of that nature, all right, is brewing. You know? All of these views of the American people, everything is, you know, getting more serious. Things is getting more amplified. Now it says class of persons make or doing one of 4 teams of contenders for the chariot races in the circus. You know, well, that's it on that. So as you can see, it's going into what? Political parties, man. Okay, and the people rebellion. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? They are going to rebel. You know? And that brings us to 2nd Ezra. Let's bring it out. That's 2nd Ezra right here. And this one quick. Second Ezra 15. Okay, in verse. Let's go to 16. For there shall be sedition among men, and evading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. You hear that? And that's when you're going to see the rebelling part. That's the rebelling part. You know, when it's time to rebel, when the people rebel, you know, because they're going to feel as if their freedom of speech isn't freedom no more. You know, like it isn't free. But we already told you that your freedom of speech wasn't free to begin with, because it's a privilege, you know. Privilege is disguised behind that word right. But in actuality, it's a privilege. When, Esau would get you accustomed to living a certain way, and then they would change the system, and then they would, and then the people would just, that's like you having a sugar cube and you put it in an ant farm. The ants is gonna swarm on it, and then you take the sugar cube out, all right, and all the ants is gonna be disoriented, mad as fuck, running around. And that's the people tearing up shit, man. They gonna be tearing up shit. Okay? And DJT is gonna call in the National Guard, call in these guys, all right? And they're gonna maintain order, so to speak, in the streets. I believe that there was a big shakedown in Washington, D.C. There was a shakedown in Memphis. And in actuality, there's going to be a shakedown in Chicago. Like, he on his way to Chicago. And you got everybody like, please keep that same energy, Chicago. That's what you got the people saying. All right? So, sooner or later, look, all it takes is one incident. And then verse 17 is going to kick in. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. You hear that? And that's going to lead into what? Martial law. That's how you're going to restore the order. Martial law. All right? Because if you shoot at the feds, it's going to be a ladder match outside. And a lot of times, the people that's on the other side of the feds' gun, they don't usually make it. Because they're trained to do that. They have a license to do that. So Pookie, Ray, Little Stomach Ache, they gonna get gunned down by Esau. Esau gonna gun their ass down. His blessing is the sword. By the sword thou shalt live. So they don't even, these little gang members is in for a rude awakening. Okay? Because a lot of them is demons anyway, and the Lord gonna send their ass to the throne. A lot of them are demons over there. You also have brothers over there that Yahweh Shema Shah gonna keep safe and keep secure. And keep under the wings of the Almighty. You got brothers in all 50 states. You got brothers all across the world, man. Great Millstone. And in all these major cities and in each state, the Yahweh Shema Shah gonna make sure we good, man. Because we are keeping that strong momentum in Yahweh Shah, pushing the names, pushing the gospel, pushing the good news, pushing this truth. Occupying until Yahweh shall come. In season, out of season, daily to the best of our ability. What we're doing, the work that we're putting in, hunkering down and working, that right there is going to put us in a better position in the kingdom. It's going to put us in a better position, man. But Lord will, this lesson was edifying. I want to give infinite honors, praises, and glory to Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Shalom to the elect. We on the next one. Abarak Tazah. Shalom.